Okay, Dan, right. We've got the practice coming up this week for the SS Newsday. We've just below us, we've got all the teams we sorted out. So we know who's who. And we've tried to be fair with the way that we've distributed it to make sure that we've kind of like got, I hope this, excuse me, coughing, excuse me, a good spread of people, but not people just working with someone that they always work with. We're trying to sort of like get you to work. And what's the idea of that? What's the idea of spreading people around?
Well, first of all, we've taken your comments on board. We've tried to ensure that every group has like multiple strengths. So we've basically sat down and considered what we believe people to be good at, etc. So we've just kind of tried to order it. So on the day there might be a natural sort of hierarchy for the certain roles, which we'll go through. The idea being everyone will have the same amount of prep. They'll be on a level playing field. They'll be working with people that they probably don't know, which is the point. I think you were braced for that already. That is the case. A lot of you are working with people you probably don't know. But ultimately, it's done to stretch you. And it's all good prep for later on when you leave here.
And talking of stretching, InDesign, we've asked them to do some InDesign practice to go and get the old person, or if they were with the old person, to go and get like an original news story and then turn that into InDesign on the template, get familiar with that. Did you use InDesign yourself as a student?
I did, yeah. So
was it awful?
It was, I think it's probably more difficult, and that's not like a humble brag, but we didn't have the templates that sides put together.
I'd agree.
So we started from scratch. But I just took myself into this very room, sat at the computers and just worked through myself. If you haven't seen Side's video and made comprehensive notes, literally from what to do from bottom to top, like literally break it down to basics, do that after this video, absolutely, because it's crucial. You need it. There's no harm in you having a blow by blow, like step 1, open InDesign, step 2, here's how you put a picture in. Really break it down to the basics, because when it actually comes to the Assess Newsday, our level of input for InDesign is very limited. We're not technical tutors. So you need to do that hard work yourself in your spare time. And I know we told you that, but just to re-emphasize, that's the way it's got to be.
Yes. So the idea is, Saeed's got everything you need to know on InDesign, but I'm just going to put it like this way. The idea is that the final Assess Newsday is not a teaching day. If you are leaving it to learn InDesign by then, that's problematic, and you need more than just one person being able to do it.
And you let your team down as well, and you get marked on teamwork. So make sure you're fully in the loop with InDesign when you turn up on that Friday morning.
Okay, so InDesign the homework. Next week, we kick off roles. Do you think that'd be a good thing? Or well, they will know their teams. We're announcing the teams.
Yeah, you'll know the teams. By the time we come together again next week, or this week and the video goes out, you'll know your teams. So the roles, you say the roles now? Yeah. So we tried to break it down quite fairly. So the idea being in every group there'll be an editor. So ultimately they are the be all and end all, the very, very top of the chain. They make sort of the decisions and keep everything together. They'll be in charge of quality and product, etc. There'll then be an assistant editor / safety coordinator. So we need a person effectively to liaise with reporters. So you'll have 2 reporters. They'll be off campus getting the story on the day. The assistant editor / safety coordinator will basically speak to them and ensure that they know where they are at all times. Because we need to know
a bit like a news editor.
Basically, yeah.
Because you do news editing and you need to know the
I need to know where everyone is.
You know the flow of copy, who's what. Comms is something which people are really poor at, but we will see.
Just as simple as a WhatsApp. Like when I'm news editing, I need to know what everyone's doing and where they are on certain stories or location-wise. So the assistant editor will take charge of that. So the main editor can focus primarily on quality of content and making sure it all looks good and stitching everything together. So you've got editor, assistant editor / safety coordinator. You've got 2 reporters, who I say will be the ones off campus, and you've got 2 sub-editors. Their job primarily will be, they'll be responsible for doing the InDesign. So designing the spreads using the templates, making sure everything looks good, making sure the picture's optimized and in the right place, trimming copy if it needs to get it to fit on the page. And also they'll be primarily responsible for reading through everyone's work, because we wouldn't have marked it by the time that you drop it into these spreads. If there's any mistakes, grammatical issues, sentences need shortening, it's your job to basically liven it up and make it punchy. And that's what the sub-editors do. So those are the roles in the teams. Start having a think about, when you see who's in your group, where you might want to put yourself. Ultimately, we need people to step up. It's really important. Every group needs an editor. Every group needs an assistant editor. This is a time for you guys to step up. Step outside your comfort zone if necessary. Take on roles you might not want to do. That's part of the activity.
And there are some fun things as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Such as a name for the publication.
Yeah, so next week, again, or this week if you've seen this, we will give you the chance to think about a name of your publication. So the idea is we'll get you in your groups. You will then discuss in your teams what stories you did for your original news stories. The idea being there might be a theme that jumps out that you can then suddenly name your magazine after, but every magazine needs a name. So next week you'll have the chance to consider that, and that's quite fun. You can be creative, think outside the box, try not to be too boring with it, but you'll be given the time to think about that in class.
And I think, in an odd way, this should be fun. We should have people doing strong original stories. We try to work on people's confidence, try to work on good picture skills, rather than just filling it with poor pictures. Good, strong, original pictures. We've been trying to work on that.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, I think we're done.
I think that's it. It's just important to remember that, it's meant to be fun. I did this, I enjoyed it. It's also a culmination of everything you've learned on this unit. So it's your chance, your final chance to show off to us and show us what you can do. So just take the opportunity with my fans, give it your all. You'll enjoy it.
And it's their first news day, but this is setting them up, believe it or not, for the next level, next year of study, where Newsdays become much more regular feature.
Full on as well, very full on. So something to look forward to, guys, definitely.
All right, we're done. Take care.